Welcome back to another video. In this video, we want to talk about how we can leverage fasting for longevity. And this is again, part of the metabolism series. If you're interested, stick around. All right, welcome back. So this is a good topic actually, because I've been thinking about this topic for a while as I've been trying to position alpha itself into what is it. Initially, it was just like, okay, diabetes. Okay, how do we get rid of diabetes? We figured that out with the SATI diet, and then eventually we incorporated that into the Core M3. And then, we got broader because not only does the Core M3 apply to diabetes, it also applies to pretty much any metabolic disorder. So like, okay, let's take a step back and then talk about metabolism. Let's talk about all these disorders such as overweight, obesity, pre-diabetes, diabetes, and then all the other diseases that are caused by diabetes as well. But then I took another step back and thought about, okay, what is the real problem here though? Is it diabetes? Like what's actually happening? Is it metabolic disorders? What am I really trying to do at the end of the day? At the end of the day, I'm trying to prolong your life, right? So if I'm trying to prolong your life, then I want age. Aging is gonna be an extension of everything that we're talking about. So can I help you prevent aging? And this is where this topic comes in today, the power of fasting with maybe your aging, right? What is the exact topic? It says promoting longevity, meaning how can you live longer? If I don't do anything, if you don't do anything, and if you continue the path that you're on, let's just say you're overweight, obese, you go down this pathway, your longevity it's a joke, right? You're not gonna live long. You're probably gonna live until 40, 45, 50, get a heart attack, call it a day. That's your longevity. Now, if you wanna promote longer, then let's just cut it off. Let's get rid of the obesity, let's get rid of your overweight, and then we double your longevity. How does that sound, right? I think most people would enjoy that concept of being able to double their longevity by just reversing something that they themselves unknowingly have created, which is why fasting is a pretty powerful tool. Obviously, there's many, but fasting is something that I always talk about. I always push now. And it's ironic because when I was younger, I thought fasting was a joke. I thought this was like a retarded concept. But obviously, once you go through the biochemistries, the chemistries, the physics, the medicine, the clinicals, when you go through the whole gamut of understanding what fasting is, then you start having a new appreciation for it. And I really do appreciate fasting to the context of how it actually applies to your body. Okay, so how does it prolong longevity? There's a few, but I want to just talk to you from whatever pops up in my head. First is when you're not eating, your body has to use fuel regardless. So your body starts producing fuel within you through gluconeogenesis or through ketone oxidation, breaking down fats. But at the end of the day, at the same time, it also does something called autophagy. Autophagy, it's autophagy, eating self. And what does that mean? Meaning any parts of your body that you normally do not use, or a part of your body that you do use but then have been neglected for a while, those areas get more attention. Because again, when your body is creating more fuel from the fats, it's gonna be having more energy, so you can actually start working on those areas. Again, the fasting itself doesn't work if you are not cycling it. If you just fast all the time, then you're technically using a lot more energy than your body actually can use, which then doesn't really help you. It just decreases your longevity. But in reality, what we want to do is we want to cycle fasting so that way your body can adapt and create newer optimized versions of itself as it's going through time. So when you're fasting, autophagy kicks in, you break down all those dead cells or those cells that are about to die, or any of the functions that within your body that have not been optimized, it will actually start getting optimized again. So that's one aspect of it. Secondarily, when you fast, not only fasting, but when you are fasting though, depending on the time cycle that you do it, so if you do it for 18:6, 16:8, whatever it is, at that period of time, you're also helping regulate your metabolism. And when you regulate your metabolism, you're actually telling your body, hey, this is the flow that I want the food and fuel to come inside my body. Understand that, right? Because when you're eating a lot of carb-rich foods or really sugary foods, you're having a spike in your insulin at all given times every time you eat it. And when you have a spike, you have that feeling of like food coma. You want to take a nap and stuff, and that throws you off, and that actually speeds up your It reduces your longevity, or let's put it that way. It reduces your longevity because, again, that leads you down a path of storing more. We don't want to store. If we store more, think of the storage as getting spoiled. When you buy bread or milk, when it expires, what happens, right? Mold starts growing. It starts getting discolored. Same thing happens inside of our body. When you have too much food within you, too much fat within you, you start spoiling in those areas. And when you start spoiling, those areas then start getting infections or start getting some sort of issue that you have to take care of, and then other parts get also issues as well. It's a vicious cycle. As you'll notice throughout all of our videos, it's always a cycle. One thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and then eventually that leads to something that's from the beginning, which is very strange, but it makes sense. Okay, with that being said, guys, let's just recap this video. What did I say? I said, how does fasting help with prolonging longevity? When you fast, what you're doing is you're not giving your body food, so your body has to create food itself, so create the fuel, and as it does, it has a very consistent cycle of creating fuel, which is what we want. Prolongs longevity because it makes us live longer, because we're not consuming. We're not in that mode. We're more like, okay, thriving mode. Not only surviving, but thriving, because when you have that consistent energy levels, you're able to do things and your mood doesn't get dysregulated as well. That goes down a psychological pathway. If you're interested, definitely comment letting me know that you want to talk about that. But then at the same time, when you are doing this for long periods of time, your body's also going to go under something called autophagy. It's almost like a remodeling of sorts, because it's going to go to areas of your body. Your body's going to figure out, okay, you have back pain. Okay, what's actually happening in the back pain? Is it a tight fascia? So not only will you do a physical thing where you're going to do a movement for it, but you can also have a chemical reaction happening within, and also electrical, right? Because maybe you don't have enough nerve signals coming down that pathway, which is great. So that's going to help promote, strengthen, and then optimize you to your optimal potential, your genetic potential, to be honest. With that being said, guys, if you like this video, definitely give it a like. If you found any value in this video, subscribe, and then see what my next video will be about. So definitely appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.